How are you doing? Let me get over here in the shade. It is Cecily of Operation Fibroid Freedom checking in with you this beautiful Friday. How are y'all feeling today? What's going on? What are your plans for this weekend? As you can see, I am surrounded by nature. Green and trees are like my favorite. First thing when I hear nature, return to nature, I think of dark, rich green leaves and tall trees. So I'm grateful to be able to be in this setting, even though I can still hear cars and whatnot. I'm in the neighborhood, so I feel fed out here around these trees. It's very sunny. I'm in the shade actually. As you can see, it's a sunny day, but it's better as far as the visual if I stay in the shade. So I'm gonna grab a chair. Hi, Increased Standards. How are you? I'm doing wonderful. I just had a amazing fresh juice that I made. I may share the recipe. I may make a video for that. It was beets and cucumber. I had a little bit of green apple, celery. What else did I put in there? Ginger and cucumber. I think I already said cucumber. But it was really refreshing. So if you see any red or pink on my face, on my lips, because I just drank beet juice. Speaking of that, beets are amazing for natural fibroid elimination and prevention. Very great source. The beetroot itself for natural plant-based iron. It's going to boost your hemoglobin. But that's kind of what I wanted to go over for a quick check-in today. Trying to get more consistent and post more often for you. Just want to talk about some stuff that I have been making a mental note to cover about food. Just different things that I notice with plant-based eating. Gotta find a comfortable spot. That topic is pretty broad. I'm not really gonna do a recipe today. I just want to talk about primarily some things that I noticed with what a lot of us are eating and what being vegan and plant-based means to us and how it can be completely different from person to person. But how, you know, even though we may all have different tastes and engage in eating different things for our own version of what plant-based looks like, there's some things that I kind of want to come to you periodically when I notice and just kind of give you a little alert, a little warning. So that's what this video is for. It's not going to be long. I always say that. But the first thing is that I saw an article this week. I saw two articles that were kind of alarming, made me raise an eyebrow. I think I shared it on my Facebook, both of them. One of them was, and this is one of the areas I want you to kind of be wary of, because I know a lot of my followers and a lot of my clients, they're not quite plant-based. You know, they're kind of dipping their toe into experimenting with eliminating meat from their diet. So, you know, a lot of them will say they're going to go to pescatarian. And, you know, if that's what you feel comfortable doing, I support whatever you're doing as long as it is, you know, a step toward you eating less red meat, less meat in general. If you have to go pescatarian as your first step to that lifestyle, then I support it. It's all about you having your mind at ease and also taking active steps to shrink fibroids naturally. But what I've noticed is in this article that came out this week, it said that salmon is one of the most toxic, or probably the most toxic, I think, food in general right now. It's farm-raised salmon. And I know that a lot of my clients are eating pescatarian and they're eating a lot of salmon. And they're probably thinking, well, it's salmon, it's fish, and it may be farm raised, but it's probably healthier than beef, probably healthier than chicken. And I just wanted to kind of come on and say, look out for that article. I'll probably put a link to that in the description box of this video. But you need to kind of educate yourself on what the status is with foods at all times, especially fish. Whether you're eating plant-based or not, even if you are not eating fish, if you're eating plant-based, always kind of try to stay aware and abreast of what changes may be going on, because there's so much confusion and changes and regulation or lack of regulation and inspection in our produce supply and the meat supply, obviously with the fish. But I just want to encourage you to look twice into going pescatarian. I already have mentioned that our bodies of water are heavily contaminated now, heavily polluted. Lots of toxic dumping is happening in our oceans and rivers, seas. That brings me to the next red alert topic. I read an article that was so disturbing about shrimp, and I will link that article in this video. But it said that I think it was the FDA, I'm not sure, this might have been done in England, in the UK. But, you know, it doesn't matter where it's done. If we're talking things that are in our bodies of water, they're going to be connected at some point somewhere on the globe. There's going to be a point of connection to where the waters flow, you know, local to you and me, wherever you are on the earth. And we are all connected regardless. So, you know, what's affecting somebody on the other side of the world, we already know there's an invisible grid of energy, of consciousness that connects us all. So just because it's not in your backyard or in your, you know, closest body of water in closest proximity to you does not mean it is not affecting you and I in some way. We have to start thinking globally and thinking collectively to make these changes to positively affect not only our immediate environment, but the environment of the world, of everyone on the globe as a whole. That's how we make big changes. Hi, Felicia Sutherland. Thank you for commenting, Queen. Sending you peace and wellness vibes and lots of love. So yeah, Increased Standards says stopped eating shrimp about 4 years ago. Shrimp is a scavenger. They eat the waste in the sea. No good for our bodies. Exactly. They're bottom feeders. They are really all of the shellfish family are filters of the sea. So what does a filter do? It's designed to cleanse. It's going to take out, it eats and feeds off of the toxins, off of the waste in our seas, in our bodies of water. So that should let you know that you shouldn't be eating something that is designed to filter out the dirt, the waste, the trash, the disgust out of the ocean. But anyway, back to the second article that I read this week that I will link. It said that all of the shrimp that was tested for the study that they've done on shrimp recently was contaminated with cocaine. With cocaine, all of the shrimp, every shrimp from every body of water that they tested for this study tested positive for cocaine. I kid you not. So I'm like, how is that? How can that be? You know, how can that be? And if that is so, that means that, you know, again, there is not just pharmaceuticals, not just waste, not just trash being dumped, but, you know, obviously drugs are being dumped in the ocean and they're not disappearing. It's not filtering out. It's being absorbed by the sea life and the marine life in the ocean. So I just wanted to come on and kind of give you an alert. Happy Friday. Not really, especially if you were planning on going out to have seafood this weekend. But just kind of be on the alert, you know. If you're going to have salmon, maybe don't have it at all is my first suggestion. And my second suggestion would be to have wild caught salmon, you know, salmon that you know that it was grown, farmed from a reputable source to where it has not been exposed to any of these toxins, not to mention the heavy metals, which I will talk about. I've talked about in previous videos. If you're going to have shrimp, I don't know what to tell you, because this study that I read said that all of the shrimp had been contaminated, tested positive for cocaine. So I don't know, maybe people that like cocaine, you know, this is a win-win for you. Just kidding, not really. I would say stay away from shrimp altogether for natural fibroid elimination. And if you're going to have salmon, eat wild caught. My third tip is not really anything that I read this week, although I do see a lot more experts talking about this topic from the perspective that I wanted to kind of start this discussion, because I'm about to get off of the YouTube for today. I've got a lot going on. I got to go work out. But these fake meats, or these meats that are like supposed to be just like our regular meats, these burgers that are all of the rage, that everyone is saying are delicious, and just even people that are not eating vegan are eating these burgers. You know what burgers I'm talking about. They're very popular. They are basically now carried in just about every restaurant or place where you can go and get a burger or get food. They're carrying this particular brand of burgers, which I won't mention the name, just because I'm not about to spark sales for anybody. Nobody's given me any sponsorships. But more importantly, I just don't want to name the name. You should know the type of burgers that I'm talking about. But there's two types. One you can find on your grocery shelves, very popular. And it's really popular because everybody is saying that this burger is just like having a regular hamburger, but it's plant-based. You can buy it at the grocery store. The second one you can find being carried on the menu of your favorite local restaurant. And they say it is as good, if not better. I've even heard non-plant-based, non-vegan friends of mine say that that burger was better than a real burger made from meat. So you know what I'm talking about. But what I want to say about these burgers is that you need to be wary and not just follow the crowd when it comes to eating these pseudo meats and fake foods that are not really, that are designed to taste like something else. If you don't really know what is in the food that you're eating, ingredient for ingredient, if it's something that was already pre-made for you, be kind of wary and find out exactly what goes into the magical behind the scenes in the lab process of whatever they took to make that was supposedly plant-based this burger turn into what tastes like a real burger. Figure out, educate yourself exactly on everything that you're doing and using to create these magical products that are just like meat products behind the scenes. Because right now I don't think we're all fully aware. We're just mesmerized by the fact that there are these plant-based burgers that are very popular and that taste just like regular burgers. And the attitude is how can they be bad? They're plant-based. So awesome. Something plant-based to replace a burger, sign me up. That's kind of the reaction that I see all over the internet. But I am kind of raising an eyebrow just because nobody seems to be discussing exactly what they did to reconstitute plant-based items, products, to make it look, taste, and feel and act just like beef. If this bee gets on me, you're going to see me run. Return to nature unless there's a bee around. I'm just kidding. I just want to say, you don't really know, we don't really know what's in these burgers. We don't really know what we're putting into our body. And just because something is plant-based does not mean that it is all of a sudden healthy for us to be eating, especially if it's something processed and already taken out of its original whole food state. The more manipulated it is, the more we are running the risk of exposing our bodies, our systems, our wombs, our uterine fibroids to something toxic, something that will exacerbate estrogen dominance, something that will continue to create more blockages in our hormones and further create more of an imbalance. Or worse, you know, again, I know one of these burgers I bought maybe about a couple years ago when they first came out. I was all about it. I'm speaking from experience. The burgers that you could find that are plant-based that you could find at your local grocer's shelves. And I think the first time I experimented and had these burgers, I was pretty impressed. I mean, they weren't like amazing like everybody's describing, but they were good for somebody that's trying to eat plant-based, and you know, they kind of fit the bill at the time and kind of got me through a meal, and it was pretty good, and I could add some stuff and kind of get a little bit close to what it feels like to be enjoying a burger, but it wasn't really a burger. But I know I bought it 2 or 3 more times, the same product, and the third time I let it thaw out on the counter by accident a little too long, and I started to notice, because if I hadn't let it sit and start to melt, I wouldn't have noticed that all of this shortening like grease buildup was separating from the part that was supposed to be the meat. And it was just looked like by the time it was done, I decided to just continue to let the process go further to see what would happen. It just looked like somebody had poured shortening over this red part that was supposed to be the meat, and it kind of separated a little bit to where the shortening part was all gathered and it was congealed like dried Crisco. And not to mention, the second, third time I got the burgers, they started to remind me of the smell of cat food, which is kind of disgusting. But after all that, I knew I wasn't going to buy those burgers anymore. And one of the burgers that I mentioned that everybody keeps talking about as this new great vegan food product that people are swearing by just because it's vegan and plant-based, they're thinking it's harmless and good for them. I just wanted to say, just because it's vegan, just because it's something, choose to go and make your own from your hands. You get beans, you get walnut meat, you get mushrooms, you know, you get some Worcestershire or something similar to that, vegan Worcestershire sauce, whatever you like, lentils, quinoa, make your own. Don't fall for these convenient products that are supposed to be plant-based and vegan that are processed, because you're potentially harming yourself more than doing good, especially if you're trying to boost natural fibroid elimination capabilities, wound wellness. You don't really know what you are exposing your body to. We don't really know what's in these miraculous plant-based vegan burgers. And that is my third tip and the third food alert for you today. I am about to hop off. If you are enjoying the content on this channel, I would encourage you to subscribe. Please like this video. Tell me who you are in the comments. Share it with some of your friends. I will be back shortly. Anybody have any questions for me before I hop off? Because it's getting a little hot out here. I'm going to stand up. Increased standards. First of all, I want to say shout out to you for hanging with me for this video. I know I'm not the most interesting person here on YouTube, but I do enjoy and have passion for being able to bring knowledge here and just bring my thoughts. I'm really grateful that, you know, you found it valuable enough to listen, because it is a passion of mine, and I do love connecting with you here. I'm sending you kisses too. And if you want to know any more about anything from my perspective, drop me a hint message in the comments. A hangout one day of the week. If I have a hangout and just kind of kick it, would you kick it with me? I don't know what day that would be, but if you would, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll just have a day where I hang out. Maybe Wound Wellness Wednesday, or maybe on Fridays it'll just kind of be a free Friday where we just kind of kick it. What do you think? Let me know. All right, I'm gonna go work out. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Stay healthy, stay happy, return to nature, get some